So, good evening. It is evening. It's almost 6 here. The tile guy did come today. He didn't get here until like 10:30, and I want to say he left probably around 2:30. Not much happened, I will show you, and supposedly coming back Monday with the contractor and the travertine to do the edge. So this got done. Evidently the Shotcrete people did make a good straight line because he was able to do the tile. So we got that done. He said he was going to level out the edges so it was ready for Monday, but he did not do that. So he said he will do it all on Monday. He's going to level out with the concrete and put the travertine in on Monday, and then grout, because all the tile has to be grouted as well. Tiny bit of progress. I appreciate the fact that he came. And I had a conversation with one of the contractors today and told him, that I wasn't trying to be a bitch, that I was not being communicated with properly. And it was funny because he's like, we've never really had anybody like you before, and I don't know how to say this nicely. And I said, well, if you're telling me that you've never had anybody that's wanted to know when you're coming to get work done and, what the steps are, and asking to be communicated with ahead of time, I find that hard to believe, but okay. I said, and obviously it's too late for us now, maybe moving forward through the end of this process, but can you, work on communication? Communication goes a long way. Because he tells me today for the first time that the reason that they don't schedule out a pool is because if there is a delay in one thing, it just snowballs the delays for everything else. And when you call a subcontractor and cancel, they will put you on the bottom of their list. I said, well, that makes total sense. Had you communicated that with me to begin with, I wouldn't have been as upset, And he's like, and you're not the only job. I said, I didn't think I was the only job. If I was, I would have expected to be done in, just a month's time. I said, and we are coming up on, it will be 15 weeks on June 10th. I said, and you told me 12 weeks on the outside. I'm not going to hold you to a specific date. However, if it's going to take longer than that, that should also be communicated. So we had a nice conversation. He said he understands more where I'm coming from. He is not used to working with a client like me, which I'm not going to take offense to. That's okay. But that's it. So I do feel a little bit better, although I don't feel like I'm any closer to knowing, what's going on. He did say, like, the electric, he said, yeah, we could hook it up now, but there's really no point because you're not going to be able to use the electric. So, we'll put our electricians on other jobs, and then when they're needed here, we would bring them out here. I'm like, okay, this too makes sense. Would have been great to be communicated with. I said, however, there is all of the mess, all of this concrete mess. I said, couldn't somebody come and get that done while we're waiting on whatever else to happen? And he's like, well, yeah, that's something that could be done. He said, but I'm not in charge of that kind of scheduling. I'm like, okay. So anyway, like I said, I feel a little better. I don't feel like I'm any closer to actually having a finished date or anything like that, but at least he knows where I'm coming from. I know where they're coming from. So that's it. And that's our update for the swimming pool, and I will see you very soon.